Hi, I'm Susan, this is Hayley, and welcome to Cancer Research Demystified. This episode we're bringing you our first ever interview, so there's no better person to start than our boss, Hayley Whitaker. So Hayley is a great example of a leading cancer researcher. She's what we call a principal investigator, or PI, which basically means she's a boss of a group of researchers like us. So before we get into anything too meaty, let's just do a couple of introductory questions, Hayley. So firstly, can you describe what your role is as principal investigator of a cancer research group?
So I'm there to set the strategy for the team and decide what direction we're going with, coming up with new ideas, troubleshooting, problem solving, keeping everybody focused. That's most of my job.
So what is the work that you're the most proud of that you've worked on in the past?
So I did some work on a protein called MSMB, microsemina protein beta, and we were able to show that it was linked to the genetic information that was associated with that protein, and that's now ended up in a lot of diagnostic tests and is actually sort of making clinical impact, so that's probably the thing I'm most proud of.
That's pretty cool. And then what do you think is the biggest challenge in your field today?
So it used to be diagnosing patients with more aggressive disease when I first started about sort of 10 years ago doing this sort of work. I think nowadays we're making huge progress there, so it's less about that and more about what's the right treatment for the right patient.
Great.
Okay, so the name of our channel is Cancer Research Demystified, so we're going to demystify some stuff. Is there like a cancer myth that you would like to bust?
A cancer myth I'd like to bust. Probably that prostate cancer is never going to kill you, so therefore you don't need to worry about it. That's a bit of a myth.
Yeah.
So I think this idea that cancer isn't, prostate cancer will actually only be a bad thing for 1 in 4 men. And so, one of the things that we've been working on for the last 10 years is, can we figure out which of those men that are diagnosed, which of those 1 in 4 men is that man at diagnosis, so we know who to treat. The myth I think that's out there now is that, well, prostate cancer doesn't really kill anybody, so therefore we don't need to do any research into it, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah. What would you say is the biggest misconception that people have about this field of academia, so that's academic science?
That we're really clever. So I think I am very good at a very, very small area of life, and that doesn't mean to say I'm stupidly clever and not a human being and don't have aren't stupid about other things. I just know a lot about a very small thing. That doesn't mean I'm very clever. I can be really stupid about something.
Don't go to a pub quiz with a scientist and hope they know all the science rounds, because I have no idea the size of a blue whale. I have absolutely no indication about, I don't know, I can't even think of an example.
So we're hoping that a lot of our viewers are cancer patients or their families, their loved ones, and we know that probably more so than a lot of scientists, you actually interact with patients a lot. Mm-hmm. So Hayley runs a lot of clinical trials, but she also works a lot with charities, so she meets a lot of patients. So can you tell us about one interaction you've had that just really, really impacted on you with a patient or their loved one?
I have a couple. Am I allowed to talk about 2?
Yeah.
So I had a lovely lady who I interacted with in collaboration with AMMF, a lady called Amanda who had cholangiocarcinoma, who sadly died. And she was scarily similar to my age, and so I think I identified with her and thought, by the grace of God, go, that could be me. That could be, one of my friends. That could be somebody I know. And that was, and you just looked at her, and she was such a lovely lady. And
we met her. Yeah, she came into the lab, and she was just so full of life.
Exactly, and you just realise how cruel it is, and it's horrible. And then recently I've met a couple of men through Prostate Cancer UK, Kevin and Lloyd. Kevin is something of a superstar, Lloyd is as well, but Kevin is sort of, they're both diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer at a very young age, and both have very young families. And again, you just look and think, it's just not fair. And Kevin in particular has gone out and has decided to do a lot of charity work, and so he's running across deserts and glaciers and
he's superhuman.
He's amazing, and he's just so incredibly humble. Yeah. And you just look and think, if that was me, I hope I'm like that. Yeah. And some people just touch you and get to you, and those are the sort of people that do.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
in terms of the patients that you meet, we know that there's quite a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
What's the most common question about your research that you get from patients? And also, can you answer it in case our viewers have the same question?
Most patients say to me, well, PSA is rubbish. That's the main thing. PSA is rubbish, isn't it? And what I always say is, PSA isn't fantastic, but we probably won't ever get rid of PSA. We will probably put other things with PSA to make it better. And if you think we're all very different people, everybody's very different, and so it's not really surprising that our cancers are all slightly different. So, you know, one protein to diagnose all prostate cancers for all men is probably a big ask. So that's why we need to have more than one thing to be able to detect cancer in all men and check its progression in all men. So that's the big one that always comes up time and again.
Yeah.
So hi everyone, we have moved locations. Hayley, we are in your office. So welcome to Hayley's office. We're going to ask you a few questions in here because we want to get to know you and what your day-to-day life is. How do you get to work every day?
I get to work every day on my Brompton bike. So I cycle in.
Other bikes are available.
I get the train from the state. Get the train from home to King's Cross, and then I cycle from King's Cross to work.
All right. So how much of your time do you spend at this desk in this seat?
Not enough. So I probably spend, it varies. So some days I can be sat here all day working and having meetings and people coming in and seeing me. Other days I can be off at meetings all day and I can maybe sit here for half an hour in the morning and half an hour in the evening, and that's it. And I never switch my computer on all day.
She has a door strategy, guys. The secret inner workings of this lab. If there's a gap, we can sneak our way in and try and get her.
So my policy is, if the door is open, you can come in and disturb me. If the door is closed, it means I'm concentrating and I need to work.
Okay, so your favourite thing in this office, other than me, who's here?
Favourite thing? My calculator, so that I can check all my numbers, make sure that we're not spending too much money, and make sure that, you know, everything's all adding up and that we're not going to overspend. Possibly my calculator. I use it a lot. It has to be a big one because you have to be able to tap. That's really important.
Okay, so you've got a phone. Who was the last person you answered that phone to?
A collaborator.
Okay.
From Birmingham, who we're just putting a brand together with.
Nice, very nice. Okay, so what about your email? What was the last email you just looked at?
Oh, that was actually something to do with Susan. So it was actually something to try and oil the wheels and make something happen. That sometimes, a lot of my job is troubleshooting, problem solving, so trying to get things to happen where sometimes they're a bit slower than we might want, so I try and sort of make things happen a bit faster.
She does. Okay, so what can't you do your job without? You can't say the calculator again.
Chocolate.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where's the stash bag? You can't see this.
The stash bag, which is for Twitter treats, is down there, but it's pretty empty at the moment because Twitter has just upgraded to beer for the summer, so there's not much in there. But yeah, it gets about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, especially if I've been writing all day. I kind of reach a point where I just need something to just keep you going till the end of the day.
We've only recently discovered you are the donut person, by the way. Susan told me today.
Did you not know?
No, I just thought they arrived mysteriously once a week.
So once a week I buy donuts for everybody, and I nip out and I buy a pack of donuts, several packs of donuts for everybody in the office.
Okay, so we've done what can't you do your job without? Who can't you do your job without?
Faith.
Oh.
So Faith is our divisional administrator. She's amazing, and she really helps on a day-to-day basis. She keeps me organised. She tells me where I need to be. She organises my diary. She's amazing. So.
And if she lets us, we may do a video with her as well.
Faith's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
But finally, as our last question, so for the viewers, as Hayley and I both work for Hayley, we've both had job interviews with her.
Exactly right.
Her favourite question, which she asks in every interview, and now since the tables are turned, we finally get to find out what is Hayley's answer to her own favourite question. So, for you guys, the question is the Christmas tree. So if you found a huge pot of money under your Christmas tree, what cancer problem would you tackle? Unlimited resources.
I'd be a little bit selfish. I'd sequence my own genome,
Oh.
and then I'd sequence the genome of all the people I liked and my family and stuff, and then I'd try and work out what's going wrong or what's right, and I don't try and understand what's going wrong in my own family.
Interesting.
So we have a strong history of cancer in my own family. It's a little bit selfish, I know, but
But it would help other families like yours.
absolutely.
So,
And so I'd sequence myself.
All right, so that's everything we've got for you, Hayley. Thank you so much for coming on the channel, and thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions for Hayley, put them in the comments below, and we will try to get an answer for you. So thank you very much, and goodbye.